Manish Gupta here, and very importantly, the kind of view he has is a bird view of the industry because his organization is present in 20 other countries. So Manish, as a pioneer of e-solutions in the in the globe, how do you see other countries ahead of India? I mean, how are they using Phygital, and what combinations are they using, and how can India learn from there? What is your message to all the participants here?
Sure. So, first of all, thank you so much, Gauri, for the question, and thanks, Shriyari, for this invitation. It's truly a pleasure and privilege to be on this panel. Mr. Jain, Mr. Ayer have been esteemed clients, and we've done some of our most, I would say, innovative projects and engagements with them. So it's truly a privilege, and so is with Mukesh. Thank you so much. Now, before I get into learning from India, just to give a bit of a context, we embarked on this journey. Actually, we started the company. Indegene was started in the premise 2 decades back on bringing medical healthcare expertise together with technology expertise. We were clearly much before time, right? So went through our churns, did a lot of things. But somewhere in 2008-9, we saw changes in the industry and started. We're also thinking, how do we really scale the organization? And we took a bet. We said, technology is going to play a very significant role in how pharma sales and marketing is done, right? And there were a lot of large contract sales organizations in the United States and Europe, a lot of large agencies doing various work. We said we're going to create what we called VSMO, Virtual Sales and Marketing Organization, right, for pharma. We clearly changed that change because people like Mr. Jain and Anil didn't like that branding, right? So we changed the name to something else moving forward, started doing that. I guess that coincided with when the industry really started moving in that direction. I still remember one of the early engagements, not our engagement, but one of the early experiments in the industry was AZ removing all their reps from Nexium in the United States, right? And just going primarily the whole tele route. And you start hearing a lot of those kind of things in the industry, right? And obviously things changed over time. Different people did different things during this whole period of time. Things matured. But interestingly, what we are betting as a company based on what we are seeing, that what has the progress which has been made over the last 10 years or so, probably more progress is going to be made over the next 18 months or so, right, in this industry. First of all, the pace of digital acceleration started accelerating over the last 2 to 3 years itself, very significantly in the global pharma industry and across countries. Right, there are nuances, there are differences. Which channel? In China, you use WeChat more, right? In some other country, use virtual MSLs more. So all those differences are there. But every country, there was a huge amount of acceleration. And I guess that was driven by the fact that digital in general started becoming more prevalent in our lives, right? This huge success of companies like Amazon, Netflix, right? Google, I guess everybody started taking notice, including the pharma industry, of what we could do. And obviously physicians were using digital in a much more significant way. Now, what we have seen over the last few months has been absolutely amazing, right? First of all, companies are moving very, very fast, right? Because there is no other option, right? Right now, if you want to have your field force interacting with physicians, digital and virtual is the only way. So obviously it's gone on the other side. I'm sure it will correct. But companies want to move pretty fast on deploying digital channels. We are seeing that happening. On the other hand, as Mr. Jain said, physicians are not meeting patients, right? And so sales rep. So on both sides of the equation, companies as well as on the rep side, you have a behavior change, right? And as people say that 21 days of doing something consistently, it becomes a habit. I'm sure we're going to do it more than 21 days, right? It's probably going to be 6 to 12 months. People would have used digital channels. So it's going to become a habit and things will change quite drastically. And you see that happening, as I said, in every country. Now, the interesting thing to learn, in our opinion, for companies in India, I want to focus on that, is that if you see the first wave of companies which embarked on the digital journey between 2010 and 13, 14, they moved on digital, but a lot of them focused on efficiency also as a primary driver, right? How do I take, I need to do content, I need to do analytics, I need to figure out data. How do I take out cost, do all this stuff efficiently, right? As Anil said, nobody focused too much on the customer experience and the continuum, which is really important, right? It was done. They made some progress, but it was, I would say, patchy. Companies, there are a bunch of companies which started after 2015, right? Their motive in embarking on this journey was, as they called it, commercial transformation, right? We got to be delivering a very different customer experience at lower sales and marketing cost, right? And that was the motive. So the way they thought about content, the way they think about internal digital capabilities, right? The way they started thinking about data, what data to capture, right? How could you continue to augment that? How do you feed it back into the whole marketing channels, right? Pains. How do you view your patient journeys and journeys? Now, more and more, we are seeing companies even bringing the real world data and real world evidence infrastructure they are putting in place to understand more about patient journeys, more about physician journeys, right? Make it much more strategic. So, and there the impact we see is fairly significant. It's at least multiple of what you see if you do these in silos. So I guess it's very important to think about this, as Anil said, a continuum, right? How do you deliver, put all these things together to deliver better customer experience? And think about this as a journey, right? In a fairly strategic way. One of the things which we see some people do, which I think is earning, don't think about this as one website we'll put in place, right? That doesn't become digital, right? It's developing an entire infrastructure ecosystem. The way you thought about your sales infrastructure, you got to have a very similar view, right? The whole SFE, Salesforce effectiveness, becomes a very different, takes a different connotation when you talk about digital. So thinking about it more strategically, bringing all the pieces together, right? So focusing on content, data, channels, as a continuum, I guess those are the important things companies should think about when they are building their infrastructure in today's context. So that's what I would have to say.
Yeah, very interesting point. I mean, it's not only the channel that you focus on, but the continuum of data, content, and channel. And very importantly, taking insights from patient journeys and physician journeys, and then putting those insights into your content. Manish, coming to you, Phygital seems to be going to stay here. And as you very rightly said, it is not at the end, but at the organizational level, lot needs to change. And when it changes, your customer experiences change. So how do you see organization changing from a very traditional format to a modern commercial format? Modern commercial organization format. And do you have any example of customer experience improving as a result of it?
Sure. So, Gauri, thanks for the question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come to your question. But before that, I just wanted to add a bit more on these metrics of does digital deliver, right? Because as Indegene, I'm sure most of the people on this panel, Mr. Jayan, Srihari, and Anil would agree that we as Indegene have been digital fanatics. Whether they'll agree with our view or not, that's a separate issue, but they would agree that we've been digital fanatics. So what we did a couple of years back, said, you know what, finally we'll invest in building IP and go out on a limb in the industry and take responsibility for prescriptions, right? There is nothing else. Finally, if you're driving prescriptions and revenues, that's the ultimate metric you need. Today in the United States, we managed, and this is still in the early days, $1.5 billion worth of products, right? We call it products under management. You're pretty much using that as a metric, right? PUM is what we track right now, right? Which are products we are promoting through digital. And we have all kinds of examples, right? Where we took a product which was in the late stages, oncology product, and agreed with the company what the trajectory is going to be over the next 3 years. Said we are going to bend this curve and take a share of the extra incremental revenues we create, right? We took an entire portfolio of Ofta products from a company and said we are going to be able, we are again going to take, agree with them on the forecast for the next couple of years. And we did very sophisticated methods of control groups and all that stuff to drive alignments and bend the prescription curve over there, right? In launches, we have come in as an adjuvant, as you would call it. right? And said, while you do your own thing, you can multiply your reach many times over, and you will see that impact on your launch, right? And have worked with companies on that. In fact, over the last 10 days, there have been 2 press announcements we have done, so I can talk about it, right? There's a biopharma company called, small company, biotech in the US called Titan, another one called Alpha Sigma, where we have actually partnering with them to drive prescriptions for early stage products in their early stages, right? And we have accountability for driving revenue over there. And digital has done that pretty well. Right? Now, obviously, they work with the sales channels and a continuum again. So digital does deliver. It delivers the final business outcome, which is revenues and prescriptions, right? Over there, and we have had at least a very tremendous experience on that. The other important thing to understand, and this is, I'm talking about more in context of the United States over there, but I think we have learnings from there. What it is also enabling is many products which just were commercially unviable, given the commercial model in the US, right? If you're going to launch a $50 million product or $100 million product, for which you have to see a lot of doctors across the country. Let's say it's a product in the cardio segment, right? Which is, you have to touch all cardiologists and consulting physicians. If the product is going to be $50, $100 million, even if it's a great product, you just can't launch it. Commercially, it's not viable, right? And those products getting launched is becoming viable because of the digital channel, which is just an outstanding thing, right? Some very good products, just because they were $50, $100 million products, were not coming to patients and solving problems. So digital does lots of things from that perspective. Right, so that's one thing I would like to leave the audience and people, participants with. The second thing on customer experience. So we had acquired a digital consulting firm based out of Europe called DT Consulting last year, which specializes in customer experience and digital maturity. They call it customer experience. They do a survey and measure customer experience across the industry. And also digital maturity, right? Inside organizations, they do benchmarking of various capabilities. Right. And while there are multiple parameters which go into measuring customer experience, right? There are some 18, 20 parameters which we measure to get the impact. But at a very broad level, you could classify them actually into 3 broad segments, right? In fact, it's essentially simplicity, simplicity and trust from a physician perspective. That becomes important. And from a patient perspective, you also make the whole personal angle into it, right? How personal it is, how up to date the information is. Though that becomes an important category, right? From a patient perspective. But you can take all these parameters which you measure in detail, classify into these broad buckets to finally measure how you're doing with your customers, right? In fact, as we speak right now, we're doing a different survey with physicians across the world to figure out, has COVID changed any of these things, right? In terms of what constitutes or what constitutes a good customer experience. And we pretty much take an approach of, if you enter a hotel, right? What does a good customer experience look like? And similarly, we're trying to do a parallel in the pharma industry. How does it look like? Now, to deliver that customer experience, what we realize is that the digital capabilities which you have to build inside the organization are critical, and content becomes one of the most important things in our mind. Anil spoke about it and alluded to that. I was having a discussion with the chief marketing officer of a top 10 global pharma company last year, actually 2 years back, and he made this very interesting comment, right? That, you know what, we have got all these digital capabilities, but it almost feels like driving a Ferrari on a road which has traffic lights every 50 meters, right? Because you have MLR process. Now, how do you deal with the MLR process to, if you really want to drive personalization and high velocity of content, some of the things which people spoke about, right? Then you start thinking about, okay, how do you develop content in the first place, right? So this whole approach, which is being prevalent in the industry, is developing content as atoms, right? Small atoms which get assembled based on the end use, and many companies are putting infrastructure on that, right? What kind of data systems you put in place? How do you capturing interactions from physicians? how are you designing your content so you can learn from content, right? One of the things which we speak about is doctor reads content, but content should be able to read the doctor as well, right? Or the patient, and bring that back into the company. So you've got to design meta tagging, and all this stuff becomes an important thing. Last but not least, one of the big things, Soka, is that upgrading the knowledge levels, skills levels of the entire sales and marketing teams, right, to be more digitally savvy is absolutely important, right? As Anil said, your sales rep finally will be more owning the relationships. Marketing folks will be owning a lot of the journeys. So how do you really enhance their capabilities in a very significant way so that they could very seamlessly blend the whole digital system in that? Those are some of the important things we have seen, right, to really improve the digital quotient of an organization, which finally delivers better customer experience.
Absolutely.